You're watching STV, Select for Fun.
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for joining us on this lovely Tuesday. It is the 8th day into the month of September 2020. Oh yes, we are coming live from the hill of Buziga, and being a Tuesday, our job is to scrutinize those big stories that made rounds of headlines yesterday, and we're pretty sure that yesterday was so harsh for Labour Minister, that is Mwesu Gwarukutana, and that we'll be talking about later on in the show. But for now, allow me to say good morning and welcome to the first show, a show that starts your day as you wake out, as you get out of bed, and as you hit the streets. Make sure that you go on Facebook, watch us live, or you can choose to go on YouTube and then stream live. Make sure you also share this show as as you also make sure that people get to know whatever topic that we shall be talking about today. My name is Simon Chris Makanga. You can choose to follow me on my social media handles, and that is Twitter and Facebook, Simon Chris Makanga for both. However, I'm not doing this show alone either. I'm always with...
Well, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody is having an amazing morning. The day started with a bit of cold. Actually, not a bit. It's pretty cold out there. And I hope that you who has gotten out of bed, has gotten a cup of coffee, and is on their screen catching the first show live on STV. Remember, our Facebook platform is live. All you have to do is be part of the conversation. And you know that part of the conversation is definitely going to be the NRM primaries that happened yesterday. A lot of people are worried about what will be next for the country come 2021 general elections, with the NRM primaries being as bad as they were. Allegations, people died, people were hurt, people were shot. Everything that we thought would not happen in the NRM primaries did. Now, away from that, while we're in the studios, we'll also be discussing the other political parties and what their plan is come 2021. So you are on the right show at the right time with the right people. Good morning, Simon Chris.
Good morning, Latifa. Today you're dressed like an angel.
Well,
Can I say kudos to, what is his name?
JB.
JB Collections.
Yes, JB Collections. Level
He's really
8
doing a
Grand
tremendous
corner,
job, by the way.
075959 Wait, let me finish reading the number. 0758597322 is JB's number. All you have to do is get in touch with him, and you will look as good as I am looking. Simon Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Actually, I'm so perfect amidst the cold. And I'm not complaining either. Everything is superb. And today, I want to challenge you. Pray for us before we start the show.
Well, let's humble ourselves and pray as the morning show starts. Well, God, I am seated right here in front of you, asking you to bless not only the people in the studios, but the people who are watching our show right now. Bring them on board, give them what to say when they're commenting on our Facebook Live. And may they enjoy the show as we take them through the day and start their day. In your name, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen and Amen. We start
Amen,
the day.
amen,
See, I'm always up for the challenge, darling. I'm always up for the challenge.
Meanwhile, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And it is a Tuesday. Well, yesterday was quite hectic for so many of us, and the political environment is getting busier every single day. Now, bakatwegatako neyongera okubaniriza naddala mwe abali ku Facebook. You are doing a great job. Genda maaso n'okusharinga this show. Gabagana bagamba batya? Gabana n'emikwano gyo. Sharing is okugabana. Gabana n'emikwano gyo basobole okumanya biki bye twogerako. Okufuna information. Bagamba nti information is key. Bw'oba toyina information obeera dam. Kitegeeza n'abantu basobola okulinnyako okutuuka gye baagala. So bw'oba toyagala kulinnyako obulaga okulinnya ku balala beera nga oyina information amala. Ate oyo information ogenda musanga wano wokka ku STV, the first show. Well, olunaku olw'eggulo oba tujjukira ffenna nti obululu obuzze bukubibwa okutandikira ddala n'aba special interest groups omwali abavubuka abakadde n'abalala oba abaliko obulemu ku mibiri gyabwe buzze bukubibwa era n'emivuyo mingi nnyo tuzze tugiraba wamu n'abo n'akalulu akaakagwa mu kamyufu ka NRM. Akatekko kabadde kazibu nnyo abantu 6 be bakasuliddemu akaba wamu n'abalala 25 bakwatiddwa ate n'abalala 25 bagenze n'ebisago wabula abasedu kino aba Citizen Coalition for Electoral Democracy omukulu waabwe oba nankulu waabwe Charity ahimbisibwe yavudde olunaku lw'ejjo n'ategeeza bannamawulire ebigambo ebyabadde bitiisa era mu bino yagambye nti wateekwa okubaawo enkola ennuŋŋamu mu naddala mu kitongole eky'ebyokulonda. Katusooke tulabe bye yayogedde then tukomewo tubitebye.
Ekibiina kya Nakyewa ekirwanirizi ky'akalulu ak'amazima n'obwenkanya Kisedu kivuddeyo olunaku lwa leero nga kyogera ku buvuyo obweyolese mu kalulu ka kamyufu akaabaddewo ssabbiiti ewedde okukananga abamu bakubiddwa amasasi era batidde nti byandikomawo ne mu kalulu akajja. Omukyala Charity ahimbisibwe Kalebbo nga yakulira ekibiina kino takkiriziganya na kalulu k'okusimba mu mugongo kubanga kireeseewo obutabanguko mu maka era asabye ebyo kikwatako okukitunulamu
nnyo eri omulonzi okusalawo ani agenda omukikirira mu kifo kya parliament oba okumukikirira mu bufuzi. Kati akakalulu kyeva ffe tugamba abasedu nti twandibadde tukkiriza ne bakakuba mu kyama mu kifo ky'okuteekangawo enkalala nga buli omu ayinza okuba gy'abadde n'abuukayo n'agwa ku layini. Nti ekintu ky'okusimba layini kiriko ebirungi naye ate ebibi bisinga ebirungi ebikirimu.
Era omukyalo ono yekokodde ba RDC ne ba DPC abenyigidde mu mivuyo mu kulonda okuwa kamyufu akawedde kyagambye nti si kyabwenkanya.
Kati ba DPC aba influences efe tetugenda kwogera amannya kubanga amateeka aga nawe nga omunamawulire oyina amateeka agakufuga nti bw'oba owandiika story oyina ogiteekawo ngeri objective. Kati naffe bakalabalaba tetwogera mannya g'abantu ne bwe tuba tukimanyi twakirabye era tukikutte eryo tteeka litufuga. Naye ngenda kugamba nti ba DPC mu eastern part of Uganda
era agenze mu maaso n'abaako basongamu olunwe. Omukyala Charity ayongedde n'akubira ekitongole ekivunaanyizibwa ku by'okulonda okugabiranga ebibiina eby'enjawulo enkalala z'abalonzi okusobola okutangira emivuyo.
Lulukange ekirala ekirina okukolebwa eno voter register eyina okuweebwa aba political parties zonna mu budde. Ffe tusabye electoral commission ewe political parties mu October babawe register bategeeza abantu baabwe waje balondera. Singa banaaba tebakikoze tujja kuddamu tulaba akavuyo nga ke twalaba mu kulonda kw'abavubuka. ekyo kyekisookedde ddala. Ekyokubiri,
ate ye omukyala Miriam Matembe ssentebe w'akakiiko ka SEDU essira litadde nnyo ku balonzi abataagoberedde mateeka ga COVID-19 nga balonda era mweraliikirivu nti emivuyo egyeyolese mu kulonda kuno gyandikomawo.
Weewaawo yo SEDU emanyiddwa nga Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy Uganda era ng'abo bakalabalaba mu byokulonda wano mu ggwanga baali bazze bawabula ekitongole eky'ebyokulonda ekya Electoral Commission wamu n'abo ab'ebyokwerinda naddala mmwe abagoberera ensonga bwe zigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. You have seen several cases being reported and you've seen how these elections have turned out to be chaotic. Latif Ahmed, what do you make of that? SEDU has come out to release a statement warning all security agencies and also warning Electoral Commission that they should look into the electoral reforms and also look into the voters register. What do you make of that?
Well, the thing about the NRM elections that happened yesterday is that we have seen and we still see that the 2021 general elections is going to be at a place where we're going to struggle with making it non-violent. If such a small election, such as the NRM election, is as violent as what we had last time, what is going to happen in the 2021 general elections when we see that a lot of people are going to participate, different opposition parties and different independent candidates for the presidential elections? We have seen that 48 candidates have already picked their nomination forms for presidency, and we are waiting to see who will stay on until the end. Now, when we look at what is happening, Simon Chris Makanga, we cannot disregard what happened to Ruhutana, and we cannot divide it from the NRM violations that happened during the elections that just ended. Again, I will say NRM has come a long way, and this was something that could have been managed, and I'm disappointed in the fact that NRM and the long-lasting ministers, because what happened was not from these, people who have just joined NRM or the people who haven't been in the cabinet, but from ministers who have been in there for as long as 5 years or 2 terms or more. And we are seeing that they're the ones who are fighting for these positions. It only shows you one thing, Entebbe Woma. Nobody wants to leave the seat. That's what I'm
Even
saying.
women are involved in this fight. Look at that lady. Look at her. Oh my God. This is the Uganda we are talking about. But oh my God. If you see a woman being involved in that kind of a fight, look at that one flexing a fellow. Oh my God. Oh yes, that is the Uganda we are talking about, and that happened during the NRM primaries. Evade bali mukamyufu kabwe nga waliwo vaawo mpitewo abantu bagamba nti akaluba akakutemu abalamu empapula bazikutte naye ekyebuzibwa kigamba nti lwaki oba ekiriwo kiri nti ababadde mu bukulembeze for some years abakuliridde mu myaka tebakkiriziddwa kukomawo era ndowooza nti obuvuyo we bwavudde kitegeeza nti abakwata entebe tebaagala kugita.
Now, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, when he was addressing the issues that happened during the NRM nominations, actually said that a lot of people are going to pay for the crimes that they committed during the NRM primaries. And again, His Excellency, we're waiting to see you walk that talk, because a lot of people deserve to be put behind bars. 6 people died. People lost their lives during the NRM primaries. And again, I will say it, that this thing could have been controlled.
Absolutely.
Now, our fear is this kind of violence is going to shift to the 2021 general elections. And we said it yesterday, and SEDU has come up to talk about it again. And we have said that we've seen people flexing. We've seen bullets being fired. Again, I condemn the fact that UPDF used live bullets during the dispersing of crowds in the NRM elections. They should have used rubber bullets. They should have used tear gas. There are a lot of other ways to disperse crowds other than using bullets that killed 6 people. Now, away from that, if this kind of violence is shifted to the 2021 general elections, we are looking at bloodshed in the country that the country will live to remember.
Absolutely.
And journalists are on the forefront of this fight, and I'm scared for their lives as well.
Labayo, Latifa, it's not so long ago. It was just last week. Chameleone badde bamuganye okukola okulauncinga party headquarters ba journalists babajjako cameras ne babagamba mu delete buli kimu kye mukutte. If only that small incidents where not more than 100 people were present, what will happen in the 2021 general elections? Nga almost the whole country is flooded with campaigns. What will happen? However, before as we shift from that, you have been following up keenly, or you interviewed Charity before. How far do you think they can stretch?
Charity cannot stretch far enough. All
As
she
Sedu,
can do,
how far can they go?
all they can do is talk to people. All they can do is raise awareness. But how far can they go is only as far as reaching their hands, but they cannot stop the violence that we see coming in the 2021 general elections. And the person who is supposed to be at the forefront of this fight is His Excellency General Kaguta Museveni, and he's supposed to, one, make sure that the culprits in this particular session are put to book. And once you do that, the people who are planning to shoot guns, the people who are planning to beat up other people, the people who are planning to kill people by mob justice will be skeptic. Because the people who first did it in the NRM primaries were put to book. So at the end of the day, we expect that to happen. And now, as we're expecting that to happen, Time and Chris, let's come down to the Ruhutana story and what happened. Because now, Ruhutana is expected to go to court and answer for the charges. His Excellency came up and said Ruhutana will be put behind bars and he is being charged with attempted murder. Now, Dan Rebirungi came up and said the FDC supporter who came and blocked Ruhutana's way when he was going for the burial came up and said, actually, Ruhutana did not shoot me, and neither was our car shot. What happened was I was hit on the head by an object. We see that he's lying in the hospital bed and he's wrapped with a bandage on his head and he's bleeding. So Ruhutana did not shoot. We know that he did not shoot, and we have said it before that he did not shoot, but the audacity that that man had to pull the gun from his security guard who has been trained to use that gun is what we are talking about.
Latifa, we cannot subject ourselves to any confirmation
No,
that
no.
he did not shoot.
Why?
Because we saw a bullet enter into the car.
Why there is confirmation? Actually, according to reports that were brought up, there was no bullet on the car. There was no bullet on the car, but the windscreen, the windscreen was shattered.
By
the windscreen was shattered. It could have been shattered by the gun, but by hitting it. It could have been shattered by a stone. It could have been shattered by an object. That's one thing we know. But we know for sure that on the body of the car, there was no bullet. And witnesses who were there say that there was no bullet that was shot. That we know for sure. They did not hear bullets being shot. But what we know was someone was hurt. With a bullet or not, someone was hurt and someone has to pay for that crime. Capish?
Look at that. Look at that.
You can see what is happening. Ruhutana in there pulling, and they had a scuffle with the security guard. Because when he pulled the gun from the security guard struggled with him to take out the bullets in the gun to make sure that he doesn't use it. So we can say safely that he was looking forward to using the gun, but he did not use it. That I can say, and I guarantee that he did not shoot.
Anyways, he's going to appear before court today in Ntungamo.
Yes.
However, yesterday yabadde mu kooti ne bamusomera emisango. Omulamuzi Chiseka, Amina omulamuzi Namayanja Nazifa yamusomedde emisango musanvu omuli okugezaako okutta, okwonoona, okutiisa n'emirala mingi. Era olunaku olwaleero omulamuzi kyakoze olw'eggulo kwe kusoma obusomi emisango n'asindikibwa Kacheeka prison gyasuze olunaku olw'eggulo. So olwaleero asuubirwa okudda mu kooti okubanga oba bamusenteesinga oba nedda. Naye kimanyiddwa nti Mwesigwa Rukutana, minisita w'abakozi, yakwatiddwa n'aba bodyguards be basatu wamu ne driver we, era bonna bwe bagenda okujja mu kooti olunaku olwaleero. Era n'olunaku olw'eggulo omwogezi wa poliisi mu ggwanga Afande Friend Enanga yavuddeyo he condemned that act. Era n'agamba nti all bodyguards who cannot perform their duties will be recalled. and transfer
We've
to
read
other
that story
duties.
before, because even the UPDF spokesperson said that the politicians who are misusing the security guards that were given will have those security guards recalled, because we are seeing that they're using them to protect them during their elections and during their campaigns, and they're using them to accuse or hurt other people, and that's not why those bodyguards were given to them. Now, as the Rutana case is progressing, we see that 1,000 protesters in Barara are actually asking the police to let Rutana go. They're saying, according to those protesters, the 1,000 protesters, Rutana is a good man, and he has built schools, and he has given them clean water. He has built churches and mosques, and he's a good person, and they should let him go. Now, the scuffle that started this fight is the fact that there was a voter register that was missing. And then Dan Rebirungi, the FDC guy, heard that those registers that were missing were in Rutana's home. Hence, he's driving with his team all the way to Rutana's home to get that is now
Dan Revinji is FDC. Aba akola ki mu kamyufu ka NRM?
Supporting oli omulala.
Owa FDC akola ki mu kamyufu ka NRM?
He was just doing his job in showing his support for Naomi Kabashira. He was just, you know, like showing like, you know what? I'm in support of this woman, I'm behind her, and I don't want Rutana to come back into power. However, that's not the gist of the story. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the people are blaming Janet Museveni for being part of this scuffle.
Are you kidding me?
They are saying, as the NRM chairperson, she asked the officer who was in charge, the returning officer, to announce the results before 10 villages had completed their voting.
I think that's an allegation that we cannot
It is an allegation.
To any
I'm just bringing the facts that were written. I am not bringing myself to saying this is what happened. I'm telling you what the protesters said. Literally, it's not my words. This is what the protesters said. They said that Janet Museveni gave a go-ahead to the returning officer to come up and tell and announce the votes before the 10 villages completed announcing. Now, the returning officer also, that's Maria Namirembe, she agreed to the fact that she came up and said, it is true, I announced the results before the 10 villages had completed because the crowd was getting rowdy, and I thought by announcing the results early, I would calm down the crowd. Instead, she started another scuffle somewhere.
So, in a nutshell, Mwesigwa Rukutana won the election, right?
No, he did not win the election, because according to the results that were read, Naomi had 24,000 votes and Rutana had 23,966. Now, what people are alleging is that if the 10 villages were included, for someone who had just a little bit to get to where Naomi was, he would have won. And they were saying there were big powers behind Naomi, hence what happened to Rutana.
Latif, it looks like the story is changing.
Yeah, the story is bigger than we think.
It's just turning upside down.
The story is bigger than we think, and I just can't wait for the conclusion to come. Because, if this guy who claims that was shot has come out to also give a statement that he wasn't
claiming
shot,
that he wasn't shot,
there you go.
Then the story is meaning that it's changing.
The power struggles that are going on in that area are very tricky, because we're looking at Naomi and Rukutana, who has been there for long, and apparently there are forces behind Naomi that wanted her to win. Hence the announcement of the result by Maria leaving out 10 villages. Now, these 1,000 protesters are saying Rukutana is a good man, he has been there for us, so we are demanding that you release him or we are not going to get out of here.
How do you see this? How do you think it's going to end?
At the end of the day, there has to be a scapegoat. Someone has to pay for the crimes that happened. And we don't know. We definitely know right now the only scapegoat that is there is Rukutana. And I'm not seeing any way out for him unless the president listens to the protesters and goes down on ground to find out what exactly happened.
Absolutely. Well, away from that, it is our job to also tell you another story that made rounds of headlines. Yesterday, the president of Uganda, yayogeddeko eri at Uganda, yabadde alaunchinga okugaba obugaali bwa NRM. Tujjukira nti mabegakaawo obugaali obuwerako bwalaunchingibwa okugabibwa bassentebe b'oku byalo. emboozi eyo tugiina era nga tujja kuba tugikuwa mu maaso awo wabula yavuddeyo n'agamba n'avumirira ebikolwa ebyabadde mu kamyufu ka NRM naddala abo be bayita abanene babadde involved in the chaos that was seen in the NRM primaries. Abantu abawerako batwalidde obulamu bwabwe bwagendeddemu wamu n'abalala bagenze n'ebisago.
Now, let's get away from NRM for a minute because since yesterday, NRM has received airtime on this TV station for the longest time. Let's now move to other parties, namely UPC and FDC. Now, I want to start with FDC before we go to the UPC story. Now, Forum for Democratic Change is still struggling with finding a presidential flag bearer. They're still struggling with the fact that Bessie J is not part of their team. And we've seen Bessie J also come out to condemn the NRM elections that just happened. And we've also seen him come up to say he has a plan B in regard to the issues that are happening in the FDC party. Now we see that Bessie J as an opposition leader for FDC has come up to say, I am not vying in the 2021 general elections. I have been there for so many years. It's time for me to sit back and work on my plan B in ousting the incumbent President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Simon Chris, the FDC party has also come up to say that they will not follow the COVID-19 guidelines. Who's lost anyways?
I think they are getting it wrong this time round.
They are.
They are getting it wrong.
They are, definitely.
And I don't think Ugandans will have to believe them, to believe whatever they're saying. But before we bring in our comments, let's first have a look at what exactly happened at Najana Nkumbi, and then we'll be right back.
Uganda agambye siba kugoberera amateeka ga kirwadde ki COVID-19 nga kamyufu ekibiina kyabwe atuuse. Bano bagamba bayigidde ku nneeyisa y'ekibiina kya NRM mu kamyufu w'ababaka ba paalamenti akaakaggwa.
Nti eno lesoni gye tuyize naffe ennene twakitegedde nti omuntu asobola okukola ebyokulonda enkola ey'okutya covid n'asooka n'agissa ebbali n'ogijjukira ng'okulonda kuwedde era abenaalemu tubeebaza baatuyigiriza tugenda kutandikira awo we baakomye tusaba busabi poliisi n'amagye gatuyambe gatuwe obukumi bwemu nga bwe gawadde abenaalemu nga batambula naffe tutambule tulirekera awo ng'okulonda kuwedde.
Ab'ekibiina kya FDC bavumiridde akavuyo banna NRM ke bayolesezza mu kulonda okwa kamyufu. Bagamba kabonero kabi eri ebyobufuzi bw'eggwanga naddala mu kiseera kino ng'okulonda okujja kutuuse. Bano beebuuza okulonda okulimu ebibiina ebirala bwe kunaabeera nga okw'ekibiina ekimu kuli bwe kuti.
NRM twagala nnyo okuvumirira ebikolwa bino kubanga byaviiriddemu n'abantu okufiirwa obulamu bwabwe. Okulonda kwe NRM kwabadde nga ebisolo ebibeera mu paaka empologoma eyiga enjovu eyiga engabi ng'abantu bali mu kibiina kimu bonna bataddeko t-shirt za yero naye nga beekubanga abateerabangako.
Bongedde okubuuza akakiiko k'ebyokulonda ku ssente ezirina okuweebwa ebibiina by'obufuzi okukozesa mu mirimu gyabwe. Bagamba ssente zino zaayisibwa dda paalamenti mu mwaka gw'ebyenfuna 2019-2020 wabula nga ne we buli kati tebannazifuna.
Ssente baatuwaako za mwaka guli okuva mwaka guno lwe gwatandika 2020 tebatuwanga ku ssente naye nga ssente zaayisibwa ate nga bamanyi bulungi ssente ezo zaateekebwawo n'ebibiina by'obufuzi ne biziteeka mu bajeti zaabyo nga ze zitambuza emirimu wano ku secretariat ne ku branches. Kakati Electoral Commission sente zirembedde nga Parliament yaziisa twagala Justice byabakama tubulire sente zaalazeewa.
Nze Shamira Nago kwa STV Select ey'enjawulo.
Well, there we go. Now, the thing about these opposition political parties that perturbs my mind and makes me think, how do they reason in the 2021 general elections, is the fact that, one, they talked about the NRM, elections that happened and the fact that they were violent. And then they also talked about the fact that now that the NRM have held elections where there was no social distancing and there was no masks, they're also not going to follow the COVID-19 guidelines. But I've said it before and I will say it again, can you be the example that you want other people to see from? Do not follow the bad manners of your elder brothers because they're, behaving badly. So you say, I'm also going to behave badly because my brothers did so. Can you set a precedent and show your elder brother that this is how things things are supposed to be done. FDC, we've been there, we've done that. We've had tear gas in our eyes. For crying out loud.
NRM,
is that what makes the opposition?
NRM has been the governance of this country for 3 decades and a half. Yes, they're the big brothers. So they must set precedent, okay? What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
And if they don't set precedent,
no. Let's get this straight. NRM has been the governance of this country. They have the guns. They own the security. But then, how we can't afford to see NRM committing crimes in the presence or in the guidance or in the protection of our
we
forces.
have all condemned that, Simon Chris. We have all condemned that.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean FDC should pick a leaf from what NRM did. I still don't see how they're going to use what happened to start a defiance campaign. Come on, grow up.
No. Let's all go by one word. English has it. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. What NRM is doing ought to be done by other political parties. This is a race.
So if my dad is a drunkard, I'm also supposed to start drinking and be a drunkard. Is that how we are leading our nation?
This is a race. First and foremost, it is the ruling party, okay? And its ministers telling Ugandans that, look, COVID-19 is here, okay? They have produced SOPs that Ugandans might have to follow. But then, it is again them breaking the SOPs. So, what do you expect other people to do?
Look, there's this thing. You, as the FDC, you're an opposition party that is looking at ousting the incumbent. Katuyagala kopa emize mibi, opposition, incumbent party that you want to oust, and then do it to show them that what you're doing is wrong. So...
they're the ones guiding us.
By the time you want to be the president of the nation, by the time you want to produce the president of the nation, Simon Chris Makanga, then show us that you're better citizens than they are.
Then Banwache failings that they're better
we
than them.
Again, we have condemned the acts of NRM. And we have said what they do is wrong, and we have asked the president to bring them to book. But that doesn't mean that we should be as bad as they are.
How long are we going to condemn them? We have condemned them the first time, the second time, the third time, and looks like they're not willing to change.
FDC, can we follow NUP? Have you seen NUP come up and say that we are also going to defy COVID-19 rules, or we are going to start having violent elections because NRM is having violent elections? What defines FDC? Is a defiance campaign that they started and they failed to contain and maintain. Do you know that they failed to contain their defiance campaign?
Latifa, if NRM has failed
so FDC should
to show us the way, this is a race. NRM bwebe tandikidde wali. Naffe tutandikire wali. FDC teja nasi naffe other parties because I'm a journalist.
Yes, you are. I can see you became a spokesperson for a media.
You're making me one. NRM bwebe tandikidde wali. Tekyetaagisa other political parties batandikire eno. Leka bonna batandikire ku race yemu. Because this is a political race.
What I'm trying
Believe you
to
me,
say,
NRM must set a precedent for other political parties.
If we look at a family setup, NRM must not set a precedent. Let me tell you something. If we look at a family setup, NRM, FDC, and UPC are the heads of the family. And then us, the voters, are the kids that are following the head of the family. Now, if we have one drunkard uncle who is making a mess of everything, all we have to do is grab him, put him aside. Kids, that's a bad example, don't follow. Second uncle, alimu blue, I am bad de blue. Second uncle, how are you behaving? Omanyichi, since this first uncle is getting away with stuff in the family, I'll also start drinking. Vayo, let's go to the third uncle. Third uncle in red, what are you saying? We shall set our own road and we shall set things the way they ought to be.
Have your people pulled out the drunkard uncle, or they're just looking at him?
Well, at the end of the day, we have seen the drunkard uncle, and we're trying to get him out of the system. We're trying to get the drunkard uncle out of the family. But copying what they're doing is not going to help the process. But showing them that this is how things are supposed to be done will have him or the drunkard, the first drunkard uncle, get embarrassed and say, why? If the opposition party that is used to being defiant and is used to eating tear gas is now the one that is showing us the way things are supposed to be done. Nafe, Let's see how things are supposed
Anyways,
to be done.
before we get lost with the drunkard uncle, let's dive into another story that made rounds of headlines yesterday.
Yes.
Kooti ya today eranga newa ensala ya y'omusango gwa UPC oguludde nga gukyali mu kooti okuva mu mwaka gwa 2025. Kigambibwa nti waliwo embiranye wakati wa ekiwayi kya eyali party president wa UPC Olala Otunu ne ali oba abadde party president wa UPC, that is Jimmy Ekena. Jimmy Ekena bamutwala mu kooti mwaka gwa 2025 ne bamugamba ave ku ntebe y'obwa president w'ekibiina, wabula nabo ne batwala okwemulugunya kwabwe mu kooti essukkako. Then omusango ogubadde nga gukyapendinga era nga gubadde tegunnasalwawo. Then olunaku olw'eggulo abalamuzi omuli Elizabeth Musoke, Crystal Ozama ne Irene Mulyagonja basiwadde ensala ne bagamba nti party president wa UPC Honorable Jimmy Ekena era former first son ave ku bwa party president. Kasooke tulabe yabaddeyo then tukomewo.
Well, as we are looking at the story and Jimmy Ekena addressing the UPC party, we know that on Monday, the judgment delivered by the Court of Appeal said that the UPC party has been ordered to conduct fresh nominations and elect a president in conformity with the provision of the party constitution. However, Ekena says that what the court is looking at is 2015 to 2020, and it has nothing to do with 2020 to 2025. However, we're looking at the fact that Ekena also came up to say that he is not vying as a presidential flag bearer come 2021, but he's going as an MP because the opposition needs a number of MPs in the August House. Now, he's behaving like the leaders that we're saying have stayed in power for longer than they ought to. He needs to step down and give chance to someone else to stand as the party chairperson and flag bearer of UPC. You cannot dictate that it is time for UPC not to stand as the presidential flag bearer. Yet a few days ago, you were fighting for the red color with NUP. What is the agenda of UPC, I wonder?
It looks like they do not have an agenda, but it looks like they also have internal wrangles between supporters of former party president Olala Otunu and the incumbent party president Jimmy Ekena. It looks like it was so annoying for them, for Jimmy Ekena to come out and say that they are not going to have party president or they are not going to involve themselves in the upcoming general elections.
But what do you think about that? Chris,
I think
the fact that they're not going to have a presidential flag bearer in the 2021 general elections.
First and foremost, I bought his idea of saying that they need more opposition members of parliament in the August House than coming as a president. I bought that idea.
Well, that is a coalition. In a way, it's a coalition of the opposition parties.
Yes, when you look at UPC and how much influence does it have, apparently,
exactly,
how much can they push towards the presidential elections? How much can they get out in the elections? Absolutely nothing. So I buy his idea of saying that basigalenga member of parliament kubanga mu opposition n'okuyisaawo article ya 102B okujjawo emyaka age limit. It was because they didn't have enough members of parliament.
But it only shows, in a way, before we go for a quick break, it only shows that UPC, your words, have the last kicks of a dying horse and they have their tail between their legs and they are walking. That means that they have been defeated, and that means it's one of the political parties that the president said come 2025 there will be no opposition political parties in Uganda.
So Katibagala, they want to hold a delegates conference. Mubana alone another party president. Do you think Olala Otunu is coming back?
No, I don't think he's coming back. And even if he does, I'm not sure he has too many votes in the UPC, just saying. But again, we can only say as much. Politics is a very tricky situation. You can say no and it's a yes. So let's see what is going to happen in the UPC party as we take a quick break, and we'll be having an international segment on the first show.
Oh, yes.
abalamuzi babagamba if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power temusibayo muntu n'omu ku twiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of which could have been in malicious society sapule njijjamu
noyingire sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda w'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule togitwala. Omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukkiriza na tusanitize bamutadde buterasi mu piikaavu ba mu State House naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Business tuambe watumida na kolwalera waneno ebusega.
Ntunda yogati, ntunde nanansi byonna.
Business ya yogati gato tane muye nanansi bannange.
Babeera bagala okunywa amata banyumirwa okunywa ku yogati ne bakuuma omubiri ng'ogwange. Nga kuva ku makya maze kutunda emitwalo 6. Ziwura tudde.
Bannange ng'omusayi ng'okola nnyo nnyo.
Era kyevula bansanyuse.
Byebyo kugambe zino komodo za wano bibeera kaze.
Nze musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Yeah.
Akabiina kalina kapapaala kapapaala akabiina ku kapapaala.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo engeri tusobola okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe engeri tusobola okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma mikwano gy'abaavu baani otambula otya osula otya okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo emikwano gy'abagagga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera no ku STV tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'abaslay queen tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri y'omubiri bwe guli mu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka 6 mbakute akwate 6 pack abufune mubatambule naye wano ku STV Big Network. See ya.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Hello, good morning once again and welcome back from that slight break. Glad you are still watching the first show. My name is Simon Chris Makanga and apparently we are going to be diving into our brand new segment and it's a maiden one. I'm pretty sure that many of you are going to love it. Kanao, tubadenga tubawa mawulire gakola amini embozi ezikoza amawulire wano mu ggwanga naye olunaku olwaleero njagala tubuukeko tucrossinge borders tugendeko mu mawanga ag'enjawulo era nga Adams Mayambala wali butereevu agenda kubanga atuwa emboozi ezo nga bwe zaabaddewo. Adams Mayambala. Osuta no mukama.
Azo bulungi sebo. Mpozi gwe sebo. Muli bulungi.
Tuli bulungi.
You guys are sebering.
You are welcome to the show.
Adam, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
But I'm hearing a lot of sebos. There's a nyabo on set. How are you doing? I already
said hi to you before.
Well, not you, Adam, not you, Simon Chris. How are you doing, Adam?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually glad to have you on set, and we are glad that we can tackle a little bit of issues outside the country, and it's you who is going to give us. Please kick off with it. Yeah.
Macha malungi abalabi baffe aba STV amanya oba Latifu njogere kubanga you're prominent on the streets of Kampala. Probably you should say my name. It would make sense to the viewers.
Mayambala. Wait. There's something that comes with his name. Adams Mayambala, one of the executive producers of the first show.
Mterevu amacha malungi omukyala nga bwanyanjudde amanya ze Adams Mayambala era nga okwawukanako ne bannange Simon Chris ne Latifa nze nzize kufulumako ebweru w'eggwanga era nga tugenda kutandikira wali mu ggwanga lya Saudi Arabia ku musango gwa Jamal Khashoggi munnamawulire yattibwa Oktoba nga 2 omwaka 2018. Olunaku olw'eggulo kooti mu Saudi Arabia yavuddeyo n'esingisa omusango abantu 5 nga bano baali bavunaanibwa nga balina kuttibwa ku kalabba wabula oluvannyuma lw'omwana wa Jamal Khashoggi okuvaayo n'apostinga ku Twitter account ye ku mukutu mugattabantu n'agamba nti nno baneno yabasonyiwa abatakitaawe basazeewo ne babajja kufa gugwa kalabba ne baba nga bagenda kusibwa emyaka 2 gyokka wabula nga 3 abalala bagenda kusibwa emyaka wakati w'omusanvu ne 10. Jamal Khashoggi yattibwa ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 Oktoba 2018 mu ggwanga lya Turkey mu kibuga Istanbul era ng'ono yali akyaddeko ku kitebe ekikulu ekya Saudi Arabia mu ggwanga lya Turkey wabula omusajja wattu teyasobola kuvaayo wabula abantu ab'enjawulo bavuddeyo ne bawakanya ekikolwa kya kkooti kino okubanga abantu bano bajiddwa kugwa kalabba naye nga kino kiri mu mateeka g'obusiraamu naddala Saudi Arabia n'amawanga g'obusiraamu kwe gatambulira emanyiddwa nga Sharia law. Omuntu singa aba akusonyiye gwe wasobyako basobola okukendereza ku kibonero sorry musonyiweko. So kati aba UN kw'ossa n'abalwanirizi b'eddembe bavuddeyo ne bakiwakanya ne bagamba osanga tewali justice ebuze kubanga waliwo conspiracy theories nyingi mu lulimi olwaffe bannamawulire. Conspiracy theories kitegeeza enjuyi okugereesa okw'enjawulo olw'ensonga nti tewali bukakafu bwankomeredde bulaga nti ono yattibwa kino oba kiri wabula abantu abasinga olu ne balusonze mu gavumenti oba obwakabaka bwa Saudi Arabia obukulemberwa omwana ow'engoma amanyiddwa nga Mohammed bin Salman era nga bagamba ono alina omukono mu kuttibwa kwa munnamawulire ono wa Washington Post mu America era ng'ono yali yawaŋŋanguka mu ggwanga lya America omwaka gumu olw'ensonga nti mu ggwanga eryo baali batandise okunoonya abantu abavumirira gavumenti abawandiika ebikyamu ku bwakabaka obwo mu Saudi Arabia n'asalawo n'addukira mu ggwanga lya America wabula nga bwe yali akyaddeko mu Turkey bw'atyo n'alabika nga attibwa. Ebitongole ebimu ebinoonyereza okuli ekya CIA eky'eggwanga lya America kw'ossa n'ekitongole eky'amawanga amagatte ki United Nations bo baavaayo ne bagamba okusinziira ku bujulizi bwe balina omuntu ono yattibwa aba Saudi Arabia. Gavumenti eya Saudi Arabia eriyo obwakabaka obuliyo wabula nga bo babyegaana. Bagamba balina obujulizi obulaga nti abajaasi b'eggwanga lya Saudi Arabia bakola operation eno wabula gavumenti yabyegaana ng'egamba nti bano bakola ekiyitibwa rogue operation nti gavumenti teyabimanyaako bakikola ku lwabwe ne baba nga basobola okuba nga batta omuntu ono. Bagamba forensic office omu yagenda mu maaso n'amutemaatema obufi omusajja ono naye buli kati omulambo gw'omwami ono tegulabikangako wabula nga omusango guggweredde awo omulambo tegulabikangako. So abantu beeraliikirivu naye nga bwe tuba nga tuvuddeko awo ne tweyongerayo mu ggwanga lya India yeegulidde ekifo ekyokubiri mu nsi yonna okubeera n'ekirwadde ki coronavirus era nga bawezezza miliyoni eziwerera ddala 4. Mu kyakaya na Uganda tulina bangi tuli mu 3,000 yo mu ggwanga lya India bawezezza abantu miliyoni 4 mu abantu 2 abalina ekirwadde kya coronavirus. So kati osobola obalamu n'olaba mu ggwanga lya Uganda mwe mulina bameka era ng'omukulu oyo gwe mulaba Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus yavuddeyo n'agamba nti eggwanga oba ensi yonna yeetegekere pandemics endala ezijja mu nsi era n'akubiriza gavumenti mpaza okunyonyola ku pandemic kitegeeza ekirwadde nga kyalumba ensi yonna nga tekirina ddagala ng'abantu bagenda mu maaso n'okufa okuli coronavirus n'ebirala ebibaddewo nga black death yatta abantu mu 13th century ekyasa ekye13 era nga yatta ekitundutundu ky'abantu mu nsi yonna so kati ekya coronavirus nze ndowooza gukyali muzannyo naye ng'omukulu yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti gavumenti mu kifo ky'okuteeka essente mu bintu nga security nga mu mawanga gaffe aga Africa tukimanyi nti nno abantu bafokasinga nnyo ku bya security ebyokwerinda okusinga ebyobulamu so bagambye babeere nga beetegekera pandemics ezijja kubanga kino kikyali kituuza ensi ekyalaba ebintu ebyenjawulo so abantu bateeke nnyo ssente naddala gavumenti ssente mu byobulamu okuzimba amalwaliro okukola okunoonyereza ku bintu ebyenjawulo olwokuba ekirwadde kino kizinyisizza ensi yonna oluguje nsubira oluganda seruka lubonyo oluguje so era kati India yegulidde ekifo kyakubiri nga yajjayo eggwanga lya Brazil wabulanga mu nsi yonna kati abantu baweze millions 27 mu emitwalo 10 abalina ekirwadde kino ajuzi nali ndaba program werabye bakulabye omuntu ne bamubuuza nti obulwadde bwa coronavirus bantu bameka babulina mu nsi n'akigwa n'asubwa ssente so oba ng'olaba STV ne Fast Show beera ng'ogiraba buli kumakya so ofuna information abantu million 27 mu emitwalo 10 be balina ekirwadde kya coronavirus era nga abawera ddala millions 18 be baakawona ekirwadde kino mu nsi yonna ago gensobodde okujjira ebweru w'eggwanga era amanya nze Adams Mayambala.
Wow. Adams Mayambala.
This is where I thought Chris knew how to speak Luganda. I'm actually changing my mind right now. Toby Manyu, Chris. Well, Adam, yes. Now going back to the story of Khashoggi, the guy who was killed on 2nd October 2018, and the case is still continuing till now, and the culprits have been put to book, but not as much as other people would have wanted. When we look at the fate of journalists all over the country, all over the world, with the 2021 general elections that are coming, are you scared as a journalist to report factual issues that are happening in the country?
Nzenga munamawulire kanze muli mu Luganda. Nzenga munamawulire sina bweraliikirivu nnyo olw'ensonga mu ggwanga lyaffe Uganda sikiwulirangako nga nze okwawukanako n'amawanga nga Saudi Arabia cause abamu bawaŋŋanguka balina amateeka amakakali naye ffe at least tulina freedom of speech osobola okwogera cause Simon Chris Makanga abeera wano n'akalakata okukalakata okumanyi era nzinze kubalaga solidarity kyovolaba
amwe mwalya munnange
tetwalya eggwanga lyaffe tetugenda mu America eggwanga lyaffe.
Now as we are speaking about the fate of journalists in the 2021 general elections, we are also looking at the violence that happened in the NRM elections. I'm going to give you time to talk a little bit about the violence that happened before we all indulge on how we can avoid violence in the 2021 general elections, which looks like it is going to happen whether we want it or not.
Okay.
Nze ndowooza gye ninaye ku byabaawo mu NRM primary nze ndowooza it's uncalled for olw'ensonga nti abantu beesimbawo nga bagenda kuweereza abantu so obuweereza is a calling ogenda weereza abantu you're going to toil you're going to do what kati nze nga nze siraba nsonga lwaki omuntu yali badde alwana why would you fight ng'ogenda kuweereza abantu so nze ndowooza abantu abo nga mwe mwayogedde baagala kulya. Why would you fight n'okuba omuntu n'ojjayo emmundu oli n'akuba? You're going to serve the people. Era nze n'ekyo njagala okubiriza abalonzi nti muveeyo mulonde abantu bwe mulaba nti bagenda kyusa eggwanga lyaffe because it starts with you gwe ng'omuntu olonda bakuwadde sente nina be nalabye nga babakuwa 15,000 omutwalo bw'ogenda ku layini gwe bawa
those ones were not $100 mbadde ndoza zabadde I'm thinking we're being bought better than 5,000 Ugandan shillings.
Kiri mu Uganda nti omuntu atunda akalulu 15,000 naye mu mwaka agutunze nusu olwo.
Era nze kyenyaga ogamba abalonzi balekerawo okukabirira abantu because bakuwa omutwalo n'olonda omuntu naye abakusasudde enzizi z'ogenda okukabira nti nno
mbadde ndoza $100.
waliwo akalala nga bawaayo omutwalo gwe bawa nga agenda ku layini bakuwa nga ogenda ku layini so kati oba otunze akaluluko wemumala nga mugamba constituency yange teri mazzi teri kino naye baba bakusasula omutwalo kati abalonzi kwatako ogwo omutwalo gwe bakuwa ogende kilomita eziddako mayiro ewaddako mu tawuni ogula amazzi because oli aba yakuwa ssente ze so ze ndowooza ssente kale z'omuwi wa musolo muzirye naye mulonde abantu abasobola okukyusa eggwanga so kati nze sirabawo lwaki aba NRM baba balwanira mu primaries ze ndowooza baba baagala kuli oyitawo because bw'olwana it means gy'olaga olabayo nga wali lucrative because politics yafuuka lucrative eri ba politicians bamanyi bagenda kukwata ssente a lot of money simanyi lwakiriwo ekyo naye nze ndowooza it's not a genuine calling.
You're coming back to me. I want to first speak about the Khashoggi story. And one thing I got to learn about from that story is that in this era, banamawulire tichitulaga nti tomalaga mukwatako and you walk away with it. You can't. That story, it is still going until we see all those involved in the murder are prosecuted. Listen, recently we talked about the other Luanga story, the former W-based journalist who was compensated. How much was it? About 120 million, something like that. So, munamawulire mwene mbeera to the extent buli omu alina smartphone tomalaga mukwatako and you walk with it. Walone general munamawulire wa UBC yakubibwa naye kati yamaa n'atuuka nakine and kyeka bamucompensatinga so munamawulire kyekiseera bamurespecting n'omulimu gwe naddala mu kino ekiseera nga tugenda mu kaseera akakalulu
one of the trickiest positions for journalists
kubanga omusango ogwo gwe gukyasinza okuteeka gavumenti ya Saudi Arabia munkenke bucyange baawo olw'ensonga munamawulire yattibwa yalinga kale sikolokota government but okwogera ku bibi government
okwogera amazima tekubakala Adam
ekituufu ewasigadde abantu tebalina mukisa ogwo so omuvubuka ono yattibwa naye si muvubuka emyaka 59 musajja mukulu yattibwa naye nze kyenjaga okubiza government nti mukole ebyo byemulaba nti birungi era wembanga temwagala babyogereko mukole ebirungi so I think bannamawulire era tulina okwegendeza naffe otera okwogera Chris tell story eri worth your life
absolutely
so mbere nga mwegendeza mwalabe ekiri mu NRM abantu kye bakoze so abantu balina obweraliikirivu kulonda okujja kunaabeera kutya so bannamawulire naffe tubeere professional enough tukole risk assessment bw'olaba nti ekintu kitabuse run for your life.
Now, violence in the 2021 general elections. We're looking at two incidences here. The first incident being the coronavirus pandemic that we're going through as a country and as the world. And the second incident that we're looking at is the fact that the NRM general elections, or they've already shown us that Wetutandi say we have a bad ending when it comes to the 2021 general. But how can we avoid it as a country, as voters, as the people, as opposition party versus the NRM? How are we going to avoid that?
Because for them buying guns and bullets, so ndowooza baali badde addressing issues ezaleetedde kino because bw'otunula mu kulonda kwa NRM abaana abato balonze abantu abatali ku nkalala balonze bavoters bangi votes nyingi ku bantu abalonze mu constituency abalina okulondera kangeze ku polling station so nze ndowooza baali badde batunulamu ebyo okusinga okugamba we are going to handle the situation tugenda kukola bwe tuti you're not addressing the real issues.
Problem, yes.
So kigenda kubeera tosobola gamba abantu nti kino genda mu electoral commission bateekewo strategies tulabe tutya Museveni yadde ayogera ku bungi bagenda okuleeta empya the system biometrics era ensonga lwaki abamu babagoba electoral commission sente kirabika baazirya so nze ndowooza balongoose mu bulongoosa okusinga ogamba tuli beetegefu teri kigenda bbaawo ffe ng'abapoliisi tugambye you're not going to do anything with police because embeera bw'esajjuka you're just going to fire bullets, tear gas and all that.
And kill people because we had 6 people that were killed in the NRM elections.
The genesis of this chaos is attributed to the NRM cadres who are unruly. Aba NRM abatakwatibwako babano bagamba mbu twalwana tuwali ayinza tugambako. Those are the people bring chaos. Bana bakola zi procession, okay? Nga police ebakumye. Chuvola abana ba FDC bavudde onakulego ne bagamba we are not going to follow the SOPs. So that is where the chaos begins. Okay? Government or the ruling party or General President General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni aveeyo akangavule kwabo abagamba nti tebakwatibwako because they are the genesis of this chaos. That is
See,
it all.
The thing is, what we are doing right now is looking at covering a wound on top and putting a bandage. But just like Nani said, just like Adam said, the whole point is what is the Electoral Commission going to do about it? Because they are our solution to the 2021 general elections. If you look at the issues or what caused violence between the youth elections and now the NRM primaries, there are accusations of vote rigging. Abantu banji bagamba akalulu, they stole my votes. This one is saying there were kids who were part of the voting process. People are saying names are missing in the voter register. Some people are tearing the voter register in pieces. Why? They feel like they're being cheated. Results are announced before other people bring in their results. We can only see that there is no fairness. Just like one of our viewers, Rashid Kibwana, said on Facebook, we need free and fair elections for these violence issues to be sorted. At the end of the day, Kumanga, when we don't start at the grassroots, Simon Chris, and we sort out these issues of voter registration, because that is what started the youth election violence. To tandike with, can we correct the voter registration? Can we put those who have their names missing there? Can we stop interfering in elections?
Latifa,
these things can be sorted when we do it that way.
That can be done. Latifa and Adam, one would ask, how independent is the Electoral Commission?
That's why I'm saying stop interfering. Those who are interfering, stop interfering.
Why I'm asking this, that how independent is the Electoral Commission? Electoral Commission yavayo and it reads its roadmap. Era mu roadmap enegamba nti campaigns genda kubeera scientific. Okay? Mugenda kuba campaigns ku media houses. Owa NRM bwagenda okugera ku radio bamuwerekera ne police. N'ayogera byayogera n'amaana avaayo. Owa opposition bwagenda okwogerako ku radio station tear gas ng'akola ng'avaayo, amasasi ng'agavaayo. So how can you control this chaos ng'omulala ali favored ate omulala nga tali favored? Those are some of the issues that need to be addressed.
Definitely.
Police must also be non-partisan. Twagala Electoral Commission to be non-partisan. Bwebe vuddeyo ne yise ekiragiro, can it be followed? How far can they stretch? How much can they tell police into omanyi? This is what we said and this is what must be followed. Ekyo kye twagala. Otherwise, if they don't follow that, we are prone to seeing quite a number of chaoses. And a lot
of people are going to lose their lives in the 2021 general election.
This was just, you know, English has it that every finish line is the beginning of a new race. What happened in the NRM primaries? Gachari mabaga.
And I'm scared. I am so scared for the lives of the citizens in this country. I'm scared for journalists, like I've said it before. And I'm also scared for politicians. I mean, at the end of the day, if I was if I was the general Ugandan public, for a politician to be as violent as they are, what are they going to do in the August House?
I think nze ndowooza era kiswaza nnyo kubanga nti patenga eri mu buyinza ya NRM nti basobola ovaayo ne beeyisa bwe bati abantu baayo because batulaga example ki endala eri parties because ndabyeko story ya FDC nga bagamba nabo tebagenda gobera COVID-19 guidelines because NRM salabe wa police agamba nti bano tubakoze bwe tuti nalabe ba minister nga bafukamidde beebaza naye nga tewali social distance ne masks bazikwata bebazisa wansi bebazongezayo waggulu kwegamba kiraga ki eri abantu nze ndowooza kintu kibi nnyo era kirina ovumirirwa because kati okulwana okwo you're fighting for what ddala mazima ziba sente
eziri in the August House, the allowances, the travel allowances, everything.
Job Mutunji Katuramwe gave me a new statement. Nze bulijjo ngamba commercialization of politics. Ne kati bamuyita politics wa kabasa. Akabasa kakute wansi ne waggulu. Nti kati buli omu ayingira mu August House mu Parliament abaza kabasa. Abantu ateeka weebuuza n'okwebuuza omuntu ateeka billions and billions of shillings mu kalulu naye nga ne zaagenda okufunayo in 5 years mu myaka etano gy'amala ng'asaavinga ziba ntono nnyo okusinga mu zaatadde ne weebuuza babeera babala kaki
bafunamu bintu bingi zekyemmanya ebintu bingi parliament sente ziyita mu parliament nyingi kyolina okumanya so nze kyemmanyi balina okyusamu naddala abakulembeze naye kiva ku abantu bemulonda because omukulembeze bw'oba olwana nkizola gwe twakyazaako wano Latifa omujjukira tetujja mugenda wala but bw'oba osobola ovaayo n'olwana gwe ng'omukulembeze kikyolaga abantu so nze ndowooza abantu baneno balina okyusa n'abalonzi mulina olonda abantu abalimu ensa because this is what happens mubataddeyo bemwagala olonda balwanye babawadde ssente zaabwe naye kati ne bwembeera nze nga nkuwadde ssente zange tolina bw'ojja kummanya nti tewankolera kino I paid you nakuwa omutwalo gwange nkuta biliyoni yange mbagabidde ssente mwina oba oŋŋamba ki oba tolina ky'oŋŋamba.
Definitely. Now, thank you, viewers, for being part of the conversation, and thank you for giving us your views on what you think should be done about the violence that happened in NRM and those that we are scared will spread in the 2021 general elections. Now, Bengo Kato says to end violence, people should be taught and awareness should be raised. Also, we should give strict laws and tough punishments starting from the leaders who vow to start violence in these elections. Now, Ian Katunda says the military should intervene. How?
The military?
Yes, he says the military should intervene. Is it a solution
I think
to end violence in the country?
I'm trying to read his mind.
Yes.
Bannayuganda bamanyira police. Era biseera bingi nnyo bw'oyogera n'omuntu nti bw'olaba poliisi eri wali n'amagye nga gali wali ani g'osinga okutya? Adamu gwoba osinga kutya? Of course. Singa ndowooza kyagezaako ogamba poliisi abantu bagimanyiira era kivula mu kabuvuyo bwabaddewo poliisi yabadde involved nga people don't fear beekuba kibooko poliisi eri wali ekuba tiyagaasi yaabwe bakuba mu bullets naye nga abantu bakyekuba kibooko so naye singa bajjayo red top
nze ndowooza yalibadde ekyo takyeyitira because omwaka ogujja teguli wala era amagye bajja galaba.
Yes, but that's not the solution. We have seen that in the recently concluded NRM election, some people that died were because the UPDF was shooting bullets to disperse the crowds. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's a solution. We're going to lose more lives if we have the UPDF or the military be part of the elections. You know?
By the way, even Army spokesperson Brigadier Flavia Bekwas yavuddeyo n'agamba nti okusinziira ku buvuyo obwabaddewo mu NRM primaries they are prompted okujjayo LDU bamanyi they don't listen tebalina nemutaaga mbw ate onooloopa mbw ate biki.
By the time Simon Chris says LDO bamanyi, it actually it echoes with a lot of Ugandans who have been scared of LDUs, who are scared of LDUs, and who were scared when they heard that LDUs were going to be part of the general elections. We've all heard the atrocities that they did while they were protecting Ugandans from the pandemic.
Ate ne police spokesperson.
What will happen, you know, because people get rowdy in elections. When I am supporting Simon Chris and I am seeing that they're cheating Simon Chris, or why? People are passionate about their leaders.
Zatendo was abantu babe tolerant because dine gwanga nensi yonna nga bweri tosobola beerayo ng'olina ebirowoozo gwe wekanga ebirowoozo bye birungi kobere ng'oli wa NOP kobere ng'oli wa NRM ng'oba oli wa party ki olina obeera tolerant eri abantu abalala okitegeera tosobola beerawo nga gwe oli wa NOP mu abalungi oli wa NRM mu abalungi olina tolerating abantu ebirowoozo by'abantu abalala and you bring them on board n'olaba abantu abalala biki bye boogera because always wagenda bawugap buli government eba ne opposition ne NOP we n'atuuka NRM n'abasigadde bagenda bya opposition so bagenda ba ne problems kwekiri NOP we NOP we n'abeera mu buyinza.
The other question I am asking is it worth your life to die for your candidate at that time during the general elections? Or do you take it?
Ndowooza it's not worth it. It's not. Because ebiseera ebisinga ne bano abantu babamanyi ate bo beerwanira bo nga bo okitegeera so nze ndowooza obulamu.
Waliwo omuyimbi omu wano e Uganda yagamba nti obulu tebutwawula. Buno obululu obutugendamu tetukkiriza kutwawula. Let's not accept to lose our life simply because of an election. Let's focus. Tumanye nti there is life after elections. There is life even before election and after. So twebereremu bw'olaba ng'oli akuleetedde amawulire nga genda kwawukanya ku muntu oli. Listen, but don't consume it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, on that note, the president also had something to say about the violence that happened with the NRM elections, and he also looked at what should be done in case general elections are violent. Husna Fet, may we look at that particular footage and then we'll be back.
We had a minister who beat people. And had to, was seen with guns. That one is in jail now. He's in jail, the minister. So therefore, this game is finished. I would appeal to Ugandans to be calm, just get the facts. I have seen some of them demonstrating. The demonstration, you may cause some confusion because you may damage some property in the process. Now, violence. There was violence in a constituency called Bukono, the one of Namuganza. People were beaten. I think 12 people were beaten, cut, even cut with panga, 12 people in the first day. I got information, and the police had not done much work. So I told the Inspector General of Police that if the police did not do their work, I will do it for them because I'm here. By arresting them first, the police officers themselves, and then doing the rest myself because I have the capacity to do it. If you don't do it, we shall do it for you. So, some of the people had been arrested and given a police bond. Somebody was cut people. You give him police bond. Police bond. We made it clear that there will be no police bond for anybody who has attacked Ugandans. In fact, one of the people who was attacked, I think, was in a critical condition up to now. I don't think. Huh? Oh, okay. Yes. Now, then you go to the areas like this Katakwi, which she was talking about. Now, that is the idiocy of a police person. If people were not armed, they were fighting among themselves. Mwezuge are the husks, the other. It has gone from the shisha. The shisha is the sheath. By threshing, you separate. But still, the husks are mixed with the millet. So you do now what they call okwera, winnowing. When you do like this, the wind takes the husks. You do it, takes the husks. And you remain with less husks, less husks. But then you are not finished. You put it in the, when you're going to call it a shekuru. The mortar, the English call it mortar, I don't know why they call it mortar. Where again you pound, you pound with okshekura. Again you separate now the remaining husks. And then you win again, and the wind helps you take the. So we are now winnowing. After a long struggle, the NRM created a good formula for the country, digitally operated. Because the country has the money. For us, for the party, we don't have money to. So, you alter results, we arrest you on forgery. We only need to audit and confirm. The stupid policeman who does not know how to use the gun, that one goes to jail. The ones who are threatening people, if we get the evidence, you will go to jail for that. The ones who beat people, the same. You go to jail for attempted murder, for what? So, the process is going to clean up. because we have already brought a good formula. This formula of lining up on the one hand and digital on the other hand is going to clean up this problem of voting, truthful voting, which we have been struggling for since 1961. Threats, like 1961 here in Uganda, they go and because Mengo had said people should not take part in the elections of 1961. Now, the ones who did not listen to that boycott, their coffee was cut. They cut the coffee. I am engaging with young people on the social media. Some of them abuse me, say, you are very stupid. I said, okay, I'm stupid, but I am able to walk on my 2 feet. I answer them also, because they I answer them. I don't have to fight with these children to win them over. And when I send messages to answer them, when there were 10 who were attacking me, you find only 6 remain. 4 answer back, say, the old man has made a good point. Then I remain with 6 who are still, yes, but when are you going home? Yes, going home is not a problem. My home is very well known. I can go home, but first solve your problems of Uganda. First of all, solve tribalism. Work for East African Federation because you need it. You need it for your coffee. You need it for your sugar. For your sugar. You need it for your milk. You first work on your own things. Me have no problem. I have got my home to go to. Then when they answer back, you find that only 4 have remained. You use your language, your tongue, to persuade them, to win them over. So therefore, all those who have made a fool of themselves, like the one who Secretary General was talking about, the one of Butemba, the one who surrounded the press and announced himself, we shall go for him. That one is a candidate for jail. That's forgery, because what happened, we have no right to change it. We had a minister who beat people and had to was seen with guns. That one is in jail now. He's in jail, the minister. So therefore, this game is finished. I would appeal to Ugandans to be calm, just get the facts. I have seen some of them demonstrating. The demonstration, you may cause some confusion because you may damage some property in the process. Simply write your points. We shall act. We are here. When I get these committees, the panels we are going to put at the zones, will be, apart from Otango Doi, will receive the complaints, but I'm also monitoring with the police, with what, because like all these areas where I have intervened, I was told, because we have got systems all over the place. Secretary General told me about Katakwi, some people told me about Bukono, some people told me about Zimbabwe, some people told me about, and I'm really going to hold, because there is the structure of the government.
Well, oye mukulembeze w'eggwanga Yoweri President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni yajja mu bukulembeze bw'eggwanga 1986 agambye, I'm not the problem of Uganda. Latifa, my home is near right to.
I will go back to my home if you want me to go back to my home. First deal with the problems that you have in your country and then talk to me. You know, like really, that's exactly what he said. I'm not the problem of your country. The problem of your country is
What is the problem?
The president literally distanced himself from the problems of the country. He said economically, you guys have issues in Uganda.
So literally, the president of Uganda understand that Uganda has got its own problems, and that is tribalism. The economy is also doing so bad. So I think, in a nutshell, he's trying to say that for as long as he's still present, he's willing to deal with such problems. But apparently, he's trying to send a message to those people who allege that is the problem of this country. Meanwhile, besides that, the president also did talk about those people who attack Ugandans. Avudeo n'abagamba nti lwaki owa police bond eri omuntu alumbye bannayuganda omuntu waba amusse.
And he's talking about Rutana because he himself came out and denied bond for Rutana. He said whoever wants to put himself up and be, you know, a bond provider for Rutana, we're not giving him bond and he will pay for his crimes. Literally, that's what he's saying. And His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at the fact that he said he's not the problem of Uganda. So, I mean, stop thinking about getting him out of the chair, for crying out loud. Look at how you can look at money. That's why I'm saying.
In the recent past, Yavaina Agamba, and he's not working for Ugandans. He's working for his family. He the family.
And that's why
he's not the problem.
He's not the problem. He distanced himself from the problems of Ugandans. Sort your problems and then think about getting me out of the chair. Anyways, let's go back to a few views that you have had about the violence in the 2021 general elections. As we have seen the president discussing it and saying that he condemns it. And that means the NRM party flag bearers, or those that won and those that didn't win, embarrassed him as the father of the NRM party. Now, when we look at Bengo Kato says those human rights groups that pretend they're fighting for the rights of Ugandans are actually fighting for their own interest. And we're not sure about that, but we'll be speaking about that. And then Samuel Nyongeza says, NRM is almost a general election, and that is why all those issues are involved. However, the concerned need is to plan beyond party levels. Now, when we look at the other people who talked, Mzee Isa says that everything is NRM, from the police to the army and to the elections that are happening. Everything is NRM, and that needs to change. Well, thank you very much for your comments. And as we are going on, we'll be reading the subsequent comments that are coming up.
You think President Museveni is the problem of Uganda?
He's the president. At the end of the day, if you are the president of a nation, you do not remove yourself from the problems of the nation. Because at the end of the day, you either solve the problems or you don't. You either lead the army or you don't. You either become the leader or you don't at the end of the day.
He's the leader. Minister of Health.
You're the head of the department. And that is why you have, why I'm calling it a department of some sort is look at it as the manager, the general manager of the company. But you are reporting to the general manager. Even you report to the general manager. Even when you have an independent show like the first show, you have to report to the general manager through
so if
the
you
PD,
mess up in the show,
what I'm saying is, once you organize, like let's say the first show, once you organize, what you do is the PD needs to know what is happening. How are you arranging your segments and what is going on air. Now the PD reports to the general manager. You get it? There's a line of duty that needs to be followed.
For what you do right
the
now.
general manager needs to make sure that everything is aligned. Literally, that's why I'm coming from.
Anyway, what if you break camera? So you present to a company.
At the end of the day, the manager needs to come and hold you responsible for breaking that camera.
I think you're getting lost on the story. Adams, you guys are getting lost on the story. Let's deviate away from that and talk about what the president said, that if you attack Ugandans, you also be attacked.
Oh, come on. We've seen that people have been put behind bars and they've left before they serve their sentence, for crying out loud. Chitata has been put in prison and Chitata has come out before he finishes.
President
Museveni was put and he was removed.
Look. President Museveni tafugante. These are people. These are mature people. Ochitegera wokulira ekisera ne bakuwa obwa minister that you're the minister of education. Oba muntu mukulu. This is your country. Taina kubeerako that you shouldn't be corrupt. He's the president.
the ministry of Education came up and gave guidelines for opening of schools and gave the date for opening of schools. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni came up and said, we're not going to do it. The Electoral Commission, came up and made a decision, and the president came up and fired people. The parliament makes decisions, and the president is part of he is part of every teeny tiny thing that happens in the country, and I still hold him responsible.
How that happens? These are independent individuals.
But at the end of the day, he's part of what is going on.
Guys, we have a cabinet.
Chris, President
We have a cabinet ministers.
President Museveni si alonda abantu ababeera mu cabinet. However much ba NRM bonna
we agreed to that.
Because baba wa sente.
We agreed to that.
Yes, not to waste away chijja. So these people make decisions for you. President Museveni si ajawo age limit here. Oshitegeera. These people, because you're greedy.
Influences.
Actually,
be realistic about how these things
are running.
He influences. At the end of the day, he's a part of the process making. Now again, daddy wakugamba okoleti tutogenda chikola.
I'm mature enough. I'm mature enough.
The August House is incalculable hope for all Ugandans because it is in that place where they make laws that are either make Ugandans or break Ugandans. Whatever happens in Uganda, you cannot blame the president.
Yes.
The president is there to consent.
I have a question.
And approve.
I have a
that
question, Simon Chris. Has he interfered with the process of the August House, yes or no? Has he put a hand and
we cannot subject ourselves to that information because we know we have three organs that run this country. We know what we know. Let me tell you what we know is that the parliament is independent. The president's office is independent. Even the judiciary is independent.
We know the independence
I don't even care if it is independent or not. These are individuals. You. And then you're saying the president...
We have seen that the president has come up to condemn corruption, yes or no?
Yes.
We have seen that the president has created a task force that is supposed to pull out corruption in these different entities, yes or no?
Yeah.
Is he trying to be a solution and provide a solution for corruption in the country, yes or no?
Yes.
There you go. He is part of the process, and if there is a
problem,
the president is supposed to look at who is supposed to deal with the solution.
Actually, let me tell you, he acts within the mandate of the law. Whatever, when he created the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, he was acting within the mandate of the law. And that State House is 100% funded by the State House.
By the way, Chris, I want to oppose you on that. Bavayo ba lawyers ne bagamba akakiiko ako yakateekawo mu bumenyi bw'amateeka. Because tekiri mu mateeka, because waliwo office ya IGG, it's not given powers to work. Okitegeera. So I don't think nti kali mu mateeka newankubadde I applaud it for omulimu gwe kakoze. Sometimes failings. I don't blame the president for whatever is going on in the country. I don't.
And I want us to go back to the case of... I am still standing in my conclusion, in my say as we are concluding this. The president cannot pull himself away from the problems of the country. He is part and parcel in the problems of the country. By the time you're the head of state, Simon Chris Makanga, a lot of things pass through you. No, he's not entirely the problem. And he's not entirely responsible, but you cannot differentiate the problems of the country from the head of the state. I still stick on that
As we get lost from this, I still want us to talk about the issue of those that attack Ugandans, because that was the gist of the story.
Baba, let them imprison them. It's as easy as that. Let them pay for their crimes. And when they pay for their crimes, can they not get out before they finish their sentence? Capiche? Can we not do that? Because you're serving their sentence halfway, and we as the victims are not feeling satisfied enough. Sentence. You can't tell me that they're now proven innocent, yet the court proved them guilty. In the courts of law, where are the evidences that they have? Where does it come?
You know that?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so are exercising our powers.
And we know what that happens.
Yes, and it was done.
How does it happen? Look, I always look at what happens in the country, and also equated to what happened in the genocide. The president has prerogative massive,
What do you mean
right?
genocide?
The genocide in Rwanda,
okay.
right? So what if the president comes up and says, all the people who are part of the Rwandan genocide are forgiven? How will the victims feel of the Rwandan genocide? There's nothing different about it. People have been killed in the general election. People have been killed in the election. It's not about even one life. One life is as important as millions of lives.
This is Uganda. Do you think, as we get lost from this, do you think, both of you, do you think the president has interest in Rukutana's case?
When the First Lady is being named and mentioned in the Rukutana case, I'm only waiting to see what will happen.
Is Rukutana an army person?
No.
I don't think the president is interested.
Again, I am waiting to...
Rukutana
is part of the NRM.
This is my view. The president said he sent CID boss Akuro Yamusindi to investigate that case, and that is one person that rarely goes on ground. In my view, I'm pretty sure
I have given my view. When a name is mentioned, that means that the other party will get involved. Let's go for a break, and then we'll be back with the business hand with Genesis. Thank you, gentlemen, for the upheated conversation that I had with you guys.
You're watching STV. Select for fun.
Abalamuzi babagamba, if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power, temusibayo muntu n'omukutwiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of which could have been Malaysia society sapule njijjamu
noyingira sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda bujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twekitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukkiriza na tusanatayizi bamutadde buteesi mu piikaavu mu State House. Naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitidde koobo yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo engeri tusobola okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe engeri tusobola okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma mikwano gy'abaavu baani otambula otya osula otya okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo emikwano gy'abagagga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera no ku STV tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'abaslay queen tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri ye omubiri bwe gulimu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbakute akwate 6 pack abufune mubatambule naye wano ku STV Big Network. See ya.
waneno ebusega.
Ntunda yogati, ntunda enanansi byonna.
Bizinesi ya yogati ogigatta otya ne muya enanansi bannange.
Babeera baagala okunywa amata, banyumirwa okunywa ku yogati ne bakuuma omubiri ng'ogwange. Nga kuva ku makya maze kutunda emitwalo 6. Zibula tudde.
Bannange ng'omusayi ng'okola nnyo nnyo.
Era kyevula bansanyuse.
byebyo kugambye zino komodo za wano tubeera kazi.
Nze musiraamu w'ennyama eggaba.
Musiraamu w'ennyama eggaba.
Akabiina kalina kapapaala, kapapaala, akabiina ku kapapaala.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Well, habari zenu na asanteni sana kuwa na sisi kwenye programu yetu ya Fast Show kuanzia asubuhi mpaka saa hizi. Tulikuwa tunaongelea mambo mengi sana. Tumetokea NRM elections ambayo wamemaliza, na kwenye elections ilikuwa fujo nyingi sana. President mwenyewe ametoka ansema mwenye alikuwa kwenye violence ya NRM elections na alikuwa anafanya fujo watamshika na atakuwa anakwenda mabusu. Now see what happened in the NRM elections is going to be conversation from now mpaka baadaye kwenye 2021 general elections. Lakini kwa wewe ambayo umetujoin saizi nasema asante sana, na kwa saizi tuenda kuongelea business. Genesis atakuwa anatuambia what is happening in the business world. But before we go there, the Ministry of Health has received 210 beds, which is going to enhance the target bed capacity of 1,500 beds at Nambole Stadium. And when I come back, I'll be reading your comments in that regard. Hello Genesis, how are you doing?
Good morning, Latifa. How are you doing?
You're looking amazing today.
Oh, you look good too. I love the white.
Well, what is it that you have for us in the business angle as we're dealing with politics versus COVID-19?
Yeah, dealing with politics and corruption at the same time. Now, the Anti-Corruption Court has ordered 4 officials from the Prime Minister's office that have been charged with inflating prices of the COVID-19 relief food. Now, the Grade 1 Magistrate Sarah Namusovia declared that these people should hand over their land titles as security. Not only land titles, Latifa, they are going to hand over also their passports.
Wow.
Yeah, if the government of Uganda was coming out and publicly humiliating these people over corruption, just maybe there's a little chance that the corruption rate in the country could go a little bit lower.
Amen to that. And some people would say that they were accused falsely. However, if evidence is provided that you have been charged with corruption, then what happened to them is only a snippet of what will happen with other people who are caught under corruption charges. Genesis.
Now, in the other story, not only Uganda has been affected by the COVID-19, not only Uganda's business sector has been affected, not only Ugandans have lost their jobs. Now, coming to America, in April, many U.S. states declared stay-home orders. And during this period, very many people lost their jobs. In fact, the rate of unemployment in America spiked to 149%. A few months ago, so many firms have come up and they're creating employment for the people. That has boosted the rate of employment in the country. As per now, the rate of employment has gone to as low as 10%. Now, if the government of America is coming up and figuring out how to boost the economy, how to equip its people, then clearly I hope the government of Uganda still has a strategy on how to develop the economy of the country. I don't want to take a lot of your time, Latifa. Let us look at the forex rates. For those of you that are dealing in export, trade, importation, and anything concerning business, these are the forex rates today from Bank of Uganda. The dollar is buying at 3,680 and selling at 3,690. The pound is at 4,895 and selling at 4,908. The euro is at 4,357 and selling at 4,368. The Kenyan shilling is at 33 and still selling at 34. The Tanzanian shilling is at 1.58 and selling at 1.58. And lastly, the South African rand, which is buying at 217 and selling at 217. Thank you so much. Let me send you back to studios with Latifa.
Well, there you go. Thank you so very much for the Forex spread, something that we look forward to every day. Now, coming back to the story that I've just spoken about, Bengo Kato says these facilities cannot afford to cater for the patients, so the Ministry of Health needs more or give quarantine to the sick or people with COVID-19 tests in their homes, apart from taking them to quarantines. And Mugabe David tells Bengo Kato, come on, be positive for once. The government has done something good, so be positive. Now, as we're getting out of here and as we're coming back to read a lot more comments in the show with Simon Chris, Genesis,
yes,
a little bit about the beds that are being put in Nambole Stadium. Yeah. What is your view on that as we move out of the studios?
First and foremost, we know that the capacity of the hospitals of Uganda cannot afford a very high number of COVID-19 patients. So if the COVID-19 patients are increasing every other day, I hope so. How many is the number right now, Latifa?
We are at 3,000, past 3,000.
Past 3,000, that is a very high number. So if we are at 3,000, past 3,000, as you say, then it means that very few hospitals, government hospitals at that, are going to afford to take in a big number of them. Well, if Nambole is the best option that the country has right now, and it is capable of putting up all those beds for them, then maybe we should start from there as we prioritize on what is next for the country.
Well, football stadium turned Ministry of Health or a sick bay for COVID-19 patients. Let's go for a break and we'll be back with sports. Majo.
Watching STV, select for fun.
Abalamuzi babagamba, if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power, temusibayo muntu n'omu kutwiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of which could have in the Malaysia society sapule enjijjamu
noyingire sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda bujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twegitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukkiriza na tusanitize bamutadde buteesi mu piikaavu mu State House. Naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Business tuambe watuimida na kolwale waneno. Business tuambe watuimida na kolwale waneno ebusega.
Ntunda yogati, ntunde nanansi byonna.
Business ya yogati ojigato ne muye nanansi bannange.
Wabera bagala okunywa amata banyumirwa okunywa ku yogati ne bakuuma omubiri ng'ogwange. Nga kuva ku makya maze kutunda emitwalo 6. Zibura tudde.
Bannange ng'omuzayi ng'okola nnyo nnyo.
Era kyevula bansanyuse.
Byebyo kugande zino komodo za wano tubeera kazi.
Nze musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Musiraamu w'Ennyamegaba.
Yeah. Akabiina kalina kapapaala, kapapaala, akabiina ku kapapaala.
Bampita Dr. Franklin Mondo Mugisha wano ku STV. Biri ku makyakera nange nga twogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo. Engeri tusobola okwezimba mu ggwanga lyaffe, engeri tusobola okuzimba gye tubeera gye tuva. wategedde obwavu lwa kibuluma mikwano gy'abaavu baani otambula otya osula otya okusalawo okwo okw'obulamu kutandikira ku nfunayo emikwano gy'abagaga n'abaavu tusobola ogitegeera no ku STV tugenda kwogera ku nsonga z'abaslay queen tutambula tutya kukyusa omulembe gw'abawala baffe kubanga bafuuka babuvunaanyizibwa era nga bakozi nga banoonyi ba kikumi tugenda kwogera ku bakanyama bazimba batya emibiri ye omubiri we gulimu ssente oba bwe bulamu bwe twetaaga omukazi tasobola kuleka musajja w'emmotoka mukaaga mbakute akwate 6 pack amufune mubatambule naye wano ku STV Big Network. See ya.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
buterevu bwebale kubanga okyekumidde ku STV era amanya nze Simon Chris Makanga tukyali mu The First Show era nga saa zino tugenda kubanga twegatibwako Marjorie atuwe ebifa mu nsiiki by'emizannyo wabula ffenna tukimanyi nti ekikopo kya African Cup kyabbiddwa wamu ne Namboole bagifudde kati okubanga bataddeyo ebitanda by'abalwadde ba COVID-19. Marjorie wasuze oti?
Nasa bulungi wasoocha Simon Chris
Ndi bulungi.
Nammwe abatulaba ku STV njagala okutegeeza akaseera ketuseemu ka bya mizannyo naye nga good morning kwisizaamu katini ebisenga ojja kuba otufuna ku ssaawa zijja kuba 5 mu kintabuli ky'ebyemizannyo. Chris nga bw'agambye ekikopo kya Nations Cup Egypt kye yawangula basobodde okubanga bagibbako ekikopo ekyo naye ekyebuuzibwa ani yakibbye kyabbiddwa mu ggwanga lino lyennyini lya Egypt. Jjukira nti buli okitwala emirundi 3 egy'omuddiriŋŋana okitwala kiterekera ddala ky'oyinza okuyita mu lulimi olwa school fees, you take it for keeps. So kyabuze tujja kuba ensonga ezo tuzitaanya okutwalako wali mu ggwanga erya South Africa. Sundowns ba champion ba PSL yaabwe bagenda kuba batunka ne club ya Bulfontein Celtic mu kikopo ekya Nedbank Cup gy'oyinza okuyita Uganda Cup wano wetuba tukomyewo eka. Ate nga Premier League y'abakyala nayo yasobodde okubanga etandika weekend eno tujja kuba tukuyisizaamu emipiira gye bujjako. Manchester United ne Chelsea be baguddewo. Messi naye akomyewo ku training ground wali ku Camp Nou mu Barcelona. Wali nnyo UEFA Nations League nayo yatambulidde ddala okuyisizaako nti Italy yasobodde okubanga ekuba bannaffe aba Netherland. Ate olunaku olwaleero tugenda kuba tutunuulira eggwanga erya England nga lisamba eggwanga erya Denmark. Nabe yagudde mu club eno kuba bazanyi mu nsi mu tiimu ya England bazanyi babiri bagobeddwa omusomesa waabwe. Ojja kutegeera ensonga lwaki bagobeddwa ye beebaani basambira ttiimu ki we twogenda bazzeeyo dda wali mu kibuga Manchester ekya Bungereza. Ebyo n'ebisingawo tugenda kuba tukwatagana ku ssaawa 5. Good morning.
Weewaawo tweyanziza nnyo Marjorie tukuba kasavu kanyama naye nga baagala ebisingakaawo ojja mulindira ku ssaawa zijja kubeera 5 paka saa 6. For now, the First Show takes a very short break and I will return with Latif Ahmed.
abalamuzi babagamba nti if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power temusibayo muntu n'omu ku twiza. This is why Besigye is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of witchcraft in a malicious society sapule njijjamu
noyingire sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda bw'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twekitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukiriza natusanatayizi bamutadde butesi mu piikaavu ba mu state house naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of the show, thank you for being part of the conversation on Facebook, and we will meet again tomorrow. Before I go, I would like to give credit to JB Fashions Level 8 Grand Corner 0758597 322 for dressing me up wonderfully, and you can look as good as me. For now, I'd like to say goodbye, and don't miss the English news that will be launched really soon on STV. And the Uganda news has been launched yesterday. We had Princess anchoring the news, and that will happen as we go on. Development after development, good things come on STV. For now, I'd like to say bye-bye. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Nawashukuru na nawapenda sana. Be safe. My name is Latifa Hamid.
Well, my name is Simon Chris Makanga, and I would like to applaud the team that has been behind this show. We had Don the Drone and Mansoul on camera. We also had Adams Mayambala and Husna Afit as our senior producers, as well as Jeff and Robert Jones in the control room. Well, may the good Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be with you, not until we meet once again tomorrow for yet another edition of the Fight Show. Coming up is the Sharp Talk with Tamale Mirundi. For now, I am not around.